these things are real moral values, but none of them has the status of absolutely overriding. So notice, for example, just take harming an innocent baby. You might think that's just obvious. It's absolutely right. You should never, for example, kill an innocent baby. So here's this here's a baby, and here's you, and you think, well, it can't be self-defense because the baby is not doing it. But you can arrange it so that it is a case of self-defense. Of course, the baby's not attacking you, but the life of the baby is a threat to yours. So, for example, take the cases, take lifeboat cases, where there's only enough. If you try to save both of you will drown, right? The only way to succeed is you can't swim with the baby, you can't carry the baby. If you don't let the baby go, you're both going to drown, right? If you hold on to it long enough till you're tired enough, then you won't be able to make it to shore either. So you let the baby drown. Or maybe it's even the case that the baby's got so tight a hold on you, you can't get it. The only way to do it is to choke it to death, right? Right? We can always come up with cases where you think, no, of course, in general, it's an absolute value, in general, but that doesn't mean that other things can't override it. So it's very difficult to come up with any moral value such that you can come up with compelling circumstances in which you override them.
But can't we attach some kind of condition to these absolute moral values, like never unnecessarily kill a baby?
Yeah, but so notice that unnecessarily is going to now need to be filled out with a long list of considerations. So you're absolutely right. So think about it this way, though. Remember Aristotle's example, I think we might have talked about it, is a ring a deadly weapon. So the question is, if you try to make the laws or the maxims very, very specific, the easiness of the test suffers. So, and if you try to put in vague notions like only when necessary, then you simply pass the buck to judgments about necessity. So notice that what's true is they're not overriding, right? There's no overriding value in there. You're just being gestured to consider the sorts of factors that override, right? That's the thought I have about it. So, well, we've covered a lot of material. Let me just rehash a little bit, and then on Wednesday, we'll talk maybe just a tiny bit more, but maybe segue into Nietzsche. I'll sort of see how I feel about it. So the first is the requirement of the test. Get that, be clear about that. What the nature of the categorical imperative is, what it says. And then the next is recognize that it's motivational consistency. It's not about are you happy, would you think it prudent. It's about is it consistent to do this? Is it a morally credible test? Does it give reasonable results? And there we've got some worries. Is it an easy test? There we've got more worries. It's not so obvious that it's easy. It's not so obvious that it's credible. Next, it's got absolute authority. It's not so obvious that any moral values have absolute authority. Notice that if you're in so here's a question you can sort of put to yourself. So what changes if you move into a kind of divine law-like picture of evidence? So suppose God says this, right? Never weave your shirt off two threads. Notice, that's not something where you can ask this kind of question. Is it sometimes okay to weave my cloth shirt off two threads? Why? You've just been told the answer to that. You may not be able to appreciate the value, but you've been told what to do. So if perfection and uprightness of the sort that we see Job to have comes from an already filled out list of imperatives like the Ten Commandments, we can make some real sense of the fact that these values are overriding and so on. What we can't do, though, just to take the next step, is what we can't do is now give a credible explanation of why God finds these things so valuable. So we've got two worries when we bring religion into the picture. we can think, is this just arbitrary commands of God? That's it. Then it's just about rewards and punishments. Right? It's, as we say, maker's instructions backed with threats. Right? There's no reason for you not to weave your short of two threads, except I'm damn well telling you, and I'll put you in hell if you do it. That's perfectly understandable. God is a rather authoritarian parent with rather strange home rules. But if you don't want to end up in hell, you better follow them. But that seems to take all the ethics out of morality out of it. Now it's just prudence with some weird constraints on it. If you want to put the moral value back in again, you seem to be in a very difficult situation. And how are you to make intelligible to yourself the value that was being honored? Okay, so we'll come back to all of these questions. If you've got questions, since this is what you're writing your paper on, right, please